gods are Red Wing fans too, it appears. The Lightning have done it! They have done it! They have gone back to back! Unbelievable.
And we are back with season 2 of Shut Your Five Hole and Listen. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Muffy. And we are so excited to be back for another season. Hopefully more consistent this year.
Yes. We will be more consistent. We will do the whole thing. We started the pod kind of midway through last season, so now we've got a full season to tackle.
Mm-hmm.
And things are already getting exciting before the season even starts.
It's true. So if you were just joining us for season 2, a little background. We both grew up going to hockey games with our dads and learning the game from them. And then we both found ourselves in Florida, became friends, discovered our love of hockey together, and now we go to Tampa Bay Lightning games together.
Yes. And where we each watched hockey as kids, Muffy is your resident Red Wings fan, and I am your resident New Jersey Devils fan. So while we talk about the whole league
and other leagues, we don't just stick to the NHL.
That is true. Our first topic in this A block is all about a different league.
It is true. It is about the brand new professional women's hockey league that will be kicking off in January.
So, Muffy, do you think this is the women's league that we've been hoping and dreaming for after all of the drama with multiple leagues?
I sure hope so. It seems like we've got player buy-in. It seems like we have NHL buy-in, which is a huge thing. I hope this is the one to do it and to stay and to really build a professional league for women.
And I think now is a good time for this to be happening. Because I think the women's teams, at least the national Canadian women's teams, I think are both getting players like Sarah Nurse that people are excited about. They want to see, they want to follow.
I have already decided that Toronto is going to be the team that I root for in this league because Sarah Nurse is on it.
Is she? Did they do the draft already? I didn't look.
Yeah.
Gotta go look at who's on the draft. We should add that as a topic.
But she signed pre-draft because she could. The drafted players were only from the colleges.
But it's exciting. I think it's exciting. And NHL buy-in, like you were saying, is key. If they could do with this league what the WNBA and NBA do with their relationship, I think it will really help the sport. Both men's and women's hockey will just grow. And it's a great way to grow a fan base. I mean, we talk a lot about out of the big 4 sports in the U.S. The NHL is consistently number 4, but inviting women in to watch women playing hockey will only get them interested in the game, which means should translate into ticket sales for NHL games. So I think this is good all around. And I'm excited to see what happens.
I am too. However, putting on my marketing and PR hat, I would just like to say they make this huge announcement. I'm all excited about it. And what is the one thing they do not have linked in any article? A website. Do you know how hard it was for me to find any information about this league? I ended up finding the website through Sarah Nurse when she tagged the PWHL Toronto Instagram, and I clicked on that and found the website through that. So come on, people, put your marketing hats on.
I mean, that's true. I mean, I've been looking out for information for this, and I didn't even know if, like, the draft and everything was happening yet. So,
yeah.
But I still think it's going to be fun. They're starting off kind of reminiscent of the original men's league with original 6 teams. I don't think they're the same cities.
They are not. Otherwise, I'd be rooting for Detroit. Detroit and Chicago, I think, were left out. And we have Ottawa and Minnesota instead, somewhere in Minnesota.
That's right. It's Minneapolis, St. Paul, Boston, Minneapolis, St. Paul, New York City area, which means this team is either going to play likely in Connecticut or New Jersey. I'm rooting for New Jersey in that scenario because I feel like, you know, they've got a good place to play. And Jersey's got they only have one professional sports team. People, it's just wrong. You're going to, whatever. I'll go my Jersey rant later. But yeah, it should be exciting. I'm glad for Canada that there's more than one Canadian team.
Yes, they have 3.
They do have 3. It's more than professional baseball. So
Who watches baseball in Canada? I actually don't know because I don't follow baseball. So there may be lots of baseball fans in Canada. Sorry, Canadians, if I've offended you.
people in Toronto.
This is where we played Disney on Ice.
Oh, man. So we'll be following this league. We'll be talking more about it. And I think it will be exciting. We're going to have to go to a game or 2.
Yes. Road trip.
So what else is going on in the world of hockey before the season starts?
Some other off-season news. Mike Babcock, who was hired as the head coach for the Columbus Blue Jackets in July, is already out of a job. He is gone as fast as he came in.
Well, when you act kind of like a creepy weirdo and ask for your players' phones so you can scroll through their personal content, that's probably going to raise a few eyebrows.
Yeah, definitely not the thing to do when there are already a lot of eyes on you for accusations of bullying and abuse from former players and being fired from the Maple Leafs from those accusations. So probably shouldn't be doing creepy, weird stuff then.
No, but I also think aside of these teams, that's an allegation against this person.
Mm-hmm.
He is not the only coach in North America.
Nope.
That you could have chosen. Why did you choose a guy, Columbus, that already had a bunch of baggage?
I was listening to our fellow hockey podcasters, the Subjectively Speaking podcast, spelled CBJ for Columbus Blue Jackets, and they have a whole episode that really dives into this. And they were basically saying the same thing, that even before hiring Babcock, there were other coaches on the table and that there were issues well before then with the front office of Columbus making this decision. And it was interesting to hear their take on it, especially because I come from the Mike Babcock era of the Detroit Red Wings, where we went to a couple cup finals. We won a Stanley Cup with him. All of this was pre-abuse allegations. Granted, there were Red Wing players who came out and said things that you don't want to hear, but good that they're speaking out, kind of thing. And so it's an interesting thing for me to listen to and follow now because, again, I was in that era of like, great coach, we're winning things, we're doing this amazing job, and then kind of having all of that crashing down and going, oh shit, this guy's kind of not good.
Yeah, well, and it also goes to show you what can be swept under the rug when you're winning.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that you can't tough love your players. I think there are certain players that respond well to that kind of attitude and format. I mean, but then you listen to a coach like John Cooper and in interviews, I've heard him say multiple times, you have to adjust based on the player. And some guys need that tough love. Some guys need someone that's a little more supportive and like not letting them beat themselves up. But nobody needs anybody scrolling through your phone.
No.
That's not like, that goes beyond a coaching style,
right,
and into just weird territory.
Yeah.
And granted, when he was the coach of the Red Wings, it's not like smartphones were as
that is very true,
prevalent. So, but I don't know why he felt that this was something that he needed to do to get into the minds of his players, or you can set a tone and expectations of how a player acts on and off the ice without going through their personal data.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that the NHL Players Association had to come in on this one is also leading me to believe there was more going on, and this was just the, like, what pushed it over the edge.
Right. This is just what we know.
Yep.
This means other weird stuff was probably going on. Mm-hmm. And let's all be clear that his resigning also sounded like he got quit. Mm-hmm. Like it was like, you will resign or we will fire you.
Right. So now Pascal Vincent is the coach for the Columbus Blue Jackets, someone who they could have gone with right out the gate, who was available to coach when they were looking for a coach. So we'll see how this goes.
I mean, it sets a weird tone for the season. But I will say, if they can come out of this stronger, and let's say Columbus like makes it all the way to the Stanley Cup, I mean, that's kind of a cool story.
It would be. It would be.
I love a good narrative. What can I say?
Yeah, that's why we work in PR.
Babcock, this was just not... Babs, that's just not right, dude.
No.
It's not right.
No. Well, let's move on to some preseason games because the preseason has started. And this year, there were some very exciting preseason games taking place in the land down under.
Yes. So I was very excited to see that there was more from North America heading down under besides RuPaul's Drag Race, which I just finished season 3. It was very good. I highly recommend.
And again, if you're just joining us for season 2 and have not listened to season 1, you're going to hear about drag queens. You're going to hear about Disney on Ice and some random things that you wouldn't think relate to hockey, but somehow we make it work.
Somehow they do. Somehow they do. And you'll hear animals.
Oh, yeah. Our dogs like to give commentary sometimes.
Yeah. And now I have a cat. So that's a story for a different day. Anyway, back to Down Under. 2 preseason games between the Arizona Coyotes and the LA Kings. They split the series. I love when any professional American sport goes to another country. Mm-hmm. I just think it's fun. I think it's a great way to spread enthusiasm. Again, back to building more buy-in and bigger fan bases. I think international is a great way. It's a great way to do it.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think so too. And it's kind of nice when they do it with the preseason games, because if you're like a hardcore fan, you're probably going to travel there regardless. But if you're more of a casual fan and you just want to go to the game, you know, in Arizona or in LA, you're probably not going to travel to Australia, and you might be bummed if you're missing a normal regular season game. Not that the NHL doesn't do regular season Global Series games. We've been to those as well. But I do like when it is a preseason game because it does just kind of give you a taste and it doesn't exclude too many fans.
Especially in a place like Australia or like when we went to China where hockey isn't as entrenched as it is somewhere like in the Nordics.
Right.
That's a little bit of a different...
Yes. When you have
a different
players
scenario.
Who come from Sweden and you bring an NHL game to Sweden, that's really cool.
Especially for certain players who might not ever get a chance to play in the Olympics, getting the opportunity to hear their anthem before they play is a cool thing. But one thing that seemed to continue from when we were in China to now is apparently outside of Europe and North America, they got some problems getting that ice, getting it set. They muddled through, they got it. Apparently the ice surface was riddled with puddles, ruts, and my favorite, uneven coloring of the painted lines.
Well, that's just the painter's fault. I'd like... Come on. Did you not have your painter's tape out there to keep those lines straight?
I mean, things happen. If we can make ice in humid Florida,
yeah,
you'd think they could do it in Australia.
You would think. But yeah, that's... Hey, you deal with what you can, right? And again, good thing it's a preseason game.
Exactly. We're glad each team, they split the series. We're glad each team won a game. So if you're fans of either of those teams, you get to see your team win, hopefully. And I hope there are some Aussies that are getting
I hope
into it.
And I hope we start to get an international audience.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It would be cool.
I would like it. Let's do it. Let's try to do it. So we got a whole big season ahead of us. You got any predictions?
Oh, gosh, predictions for the upcoming season. My first prediction, again, is going out as the resident Red Wing fan and a hometowner. I think the Red Wings will get back into the playoffs this year. Probably a wild card position, probably knocked out early on, but I do think we are moving in that direction, and this will be the year they get back into the playoffs.
I think that's a good prediction. I like that prediction. I'm going to predict that this is the year that the New Jersey Devils finally get their goaltender situation sorted out.
Oh, good. Yep.
And I have faith in that because, you know, on the TikTok, there was that video of Vanacek going around giving all of his players Frenchie braces, or to the rest of us, known as friendship bracelets, I think we're going to do it because those Frenchie braces are going to help us.
I love it. Taking a little page out of Taylor Swift's Eras tour.
100%. We need those Frenchie braces.
We are in our goaltending era, Stephanie.
We are in our goaltending era. We haven't been there since Martin Brodeur. I have faith that we'll be able to do it again. Who do you think is going to win the cup? You ready to put that out there before the season starts?
I don't know this year.
I don't either. I will say Vegas did not get dispersed as much as Colorado did.
They did not, but I don't see a repeat.
No, repeats are hard. Repeats in the modern era of hockey are hard, and that's why the Tampa Bay Lightning, I think, was so special. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they went to the Cup 3 years in a row, even though they didn't win, that's hard. Mm-hmm. That's hard. I do also predict that our Bolts are not going to be great.
Yeah.
Not going to be great.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting team this year.
Yeah.
So based on where people landed in the standings last year and some of the trades happening, I do feel like some of the teams we predicted last year of making it pretty far into the playoffs still have that chance. I can see an Edmonton going there. I could see Carolina Hurricanes. Mm-hmm. That could be an interesting final.
It could be. All joking aside about Frenchie braces, Devils are pretty stacked. I mean, Timo Meier was supposed to be Meier was supposed to be a rental, and he signed.
Yeah,
that says something.
Yep.
Jesper Bratt, which if someone wants to tell me if it's Jesper or Jesper, please help me. There have been contradictory things. He re-signed. That wasn't a given. You know, they're pretty stacked, and that's why that goaltending situation is going to be key. If they can lock that down, they're a young team. And
they have a good chance of going all the way, too.
And when you've got young guys with Dougie Hamilton and Andre Palat who have playoff experience, that could be real good. Mm-hmm. But you never know.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about Dallas?
Dallas, I always want to count Dallas out, and then Dallas just seems to figure out a way to...
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing. Because they surprised me a bit last year. Mm-hmm. And I think they could be another sneaky one again this year.
Another West Coast team that I'm interested in looking at, they've been in rebuilding years, but I actually think this is the first year in a while that the Ducks actually have put together players that will get them in the rebuilding phase, where you're not just saying we're in a rebuilding phase because we suck, but you're actually like in the rebuilding phase.
Yeah, I'd say 3 years, maybe they're up there.
Yeah, I think the Ducks are where the Red Wings and the Devils were 3-4 seasons ago. Mm-hmm. Like, which I guess would be right before the pandemic.
Yep. Sure was.
So I think they're a team to watch in terms of their growth and development over
I would agree with that.
The next year. And I do think, as much as I'm sad to see him go, I'm glad he can still use his jet skis. I think Alex Killorn is going to be key to that.
Alex Killorn is definitely going to be key to that. He's going to bring a lot of wisdom and insight and skill to a Ducks team that needs some of that senior leadership.
Yes. And I think it's going to give him an opportunity to be a leader that he would never have gotten to be on the Lightning, which we cannot leave this first segment without talking about the newly minted captain for the Boston Bruins.
Oh, yes. The face licker.
I like Brad Marchand.
Oh, I love Brad Marchand.
The face licking
so weird.
Was so weird and so strange.
But so
very disgusting. So him. I like when a guy with personality is elevated to a role of leadership when they deserve it. Because he's a smart player. He's a weird player. But he's good at what he does, and he's been on the team a long time, and that team loves him.
It's true. And no other team would have made him a captain despite all of those other things, but he just fits with that Boston Bruins core.
I mean, he's so Boston, it hurts. Just Brad Marchand, you get it.
Yes.
Get it.
Yes. All right. Well, I think that brings us to the end of period 1. Stephanie and I are going to the Lightning home opener, so we will dive into the season about that time as well. And we'll be right back with more from Shut Your Five Hole and Listen.
And we're back for a very special episode of period 2. Very special period 2 of hockey lingo. So we've actually changed it up because I froze and couldn't think of any hockey lingo on the spot. So Muffy's going to quiz me if I know what hockey lingo, what these things are. And we're going to find out if Stephanie can go back to her like high school years and if she still speaks puck bunny.
Love it. Love it.
Which, for the record, only happened because for some reason in my high school, the softball team hung out with the hockey team. I wasn't like trying to hang around the rink. It just,
I mean, I grew up at the rink because I was a figure skater. So,
but that's a very different scenario.
It is a very different scenario. All right. I'm going to start you off with an easy one.
Okay.
What's a biscuit?
It's the puck.
Yes, it is. I told you I was giving you an easy one, but not everybody knows that. We have some newbies.
True facts. True facts.
If you hear put the biscuit in the basket, you're not going to know what that is.
No, it sounds very dirty, actually.
It means put the puck in the net.
It does. But as we've established, a lot of hockey things sound dirty, like shut your 5 hole. Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's just a thing you and I scream.
It is. It is. All right. What's a hoser?
Oh, God. I should know this. What is a hoser?
I mean, it's basically just trash talk of like calling a player a loser.
Oh. I thought that was like... Oh, no, that's a Hoosier. Like, isn't that like a person or a place? Isn't that a movie? Is that a football thing? Is that a movie with Gene Hackman?
I don't know. that one I don't know. We're talking hockey lingo, not
we are,
football
but
movies.
Oh, please. Oh no, that was The Replacements. No, that's the new one. I'm thinking of a movie. This is why it's not good that my grandfather is no longer on this mortal plane. I'll find this out later. If I remember, we'll put it in the show notes.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a great plan. Okay. Give me the next one.
I'll give you another easy one.
This might not be easy.
And no, this one should be easy. When they call it a sweater, what are they referring to?
Oh, their jersey.
There you go.
Their jersey.
There you go.
I did know that one. I feel much better now.
All right. How about top shelf?
Well, like the top of the net, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The upper section of the goal.
Okay. The 1 hole and the 3 hole? Yeah. Mm-hmm. As I've learned. I know the holes.
All right. How about a yard sale?
Oh, God. I don't know. I know this in my brain.
You've been with me when I've yelled yard sale.
I know. I think I've yelled it. I don't remember. What is it?
When the sticks and gloves are all over the ice because a fight has happened and everybody's dropped the gloves and
this is going to sound so bad. I didn't want to sound like an idiot, but I was like thinking through it. I was like, okay, I know everybody comes off the bench usually. And then there's lots of fights. And then like I stopped. I got nervous and stopped. And then outed myself for my journey. It's all right. It's all right.
How about chiclets?
Those are your teeth.
Yes.
Your teeth. Your toofies. It's your toofies.
Your toofies. All right. One more. An apple.
Oh, I don't know that one.
It's an assist.
Oh. We should also probably explain what a puck bunny is.
You probably should. Would you care to explain, Miss Puck Bunny?
I wasn't one. They just have a language. It's the girls that hang out around the rinks to, because they want to be with the hockey players.
Oh, cool. You probably got about 50% on that one. Maybe 75.
I did. Couldn't you give me an easy one, like a celly?
I hadn't thought of that, but that felt kind of...
Which is, it's the same in every sport.
Pretty much is. It pretty much is.
So yeah, that's your period 2 of hockey lingo.
I'm sure we have more hockey lingo we can bring up in another.
I'm sure we will. I have to redeem myself.
All right.
I have to redeem. Maybe just like every
few episodes we'll throw some more out.
we'll just quiz me.
All right. I like it. Thanks for making a fool out of yourself.
No problem. Anytime.
All right. Well, with that, we will be right back with period 3. I can't believe you didn't have yard sale.
I saw it in my head. So we are back with our period 3.
Anything goes.
Anything goes. So today we're just talking about like crazy hockey facts or just things that are just too...
Like hockey facts that don't sound real.
Yes.
And this started because we recently learned the Tampa Bay Lightning used to be owned by the Japanese mafia.
We did learn that.
The two Italian guys reached out to the Japanese mafia to help them fund the team.
Yes. So for those of you who don't know, 2 of the Tampa Bay Lightning's founders are hockey legends Phil and Tony Esposito. And they decided 26, 25, something over 25. We just celebrated our 25th anniversary recently, that they were going to start a hockey team in Tampa. So they reached out to a company called, what is the company called? I don't remember what the company is called, but the short version is it was a front for the Yakuza. Yep. So 2, as Muffy said, 2 itais, such as myself, called up the Japanese mob to start a hockey team in the state of Florida.
You would think they would have had Italian mob contacts to do this and not have to go to the Japanese. Maybe that's too obvious.
Maybe it's too obvious. Or maybe that's how they got in contact with.
Maybe
they were like, we don't want to be too Guido here.
Can you hook us up with one of your families on the other side of the world who might be able to help with this?
I think a movie should be made just about financing the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Absolutely. ESPN Plus needs to get on
it. Executive producer Anson Carter and PK Subban.
Love it.
No diversity in there except they're just, we've established they're nice. Cool, guys. Yeah, that one's nuts.
It is.
That one's totally crazy.
Another one that cracks me up is that the Florida Panthers tried to draft Alex Ovechkin the year before he was eligible to be drafted because they tried to argue that the amount of he missed the cutoff by like 3 days based on when his birthday is. And they argued that the amount of leap years that had happened in his lifetime made him qualified for the draft.
I mean,
it's creative.
It's creative. I appreciate the ingenuity. I appreciate the outside the box thinking. I appreciate even that recognizing that time is a construct.
Yep.
But yeah, that's wild.
So funny.
Also, think about how different things would be if he was a Florida Panther.
Yeah.
They would have had enough money by now to revamp the arena and not have it feel like a 1990s shopping mall. No shade. It actually was kind of fun.
We had lots of fun.
We did, but the carpet was suspect. You should not have that kind of carpet.
No.
Where people are spilling beers.
No.
But that's, lessons learned. But it was a fun time. That's a good building.
Yes. What's another one, Stephanie?
Another one that I think is just super fun, taking us back to the 70s, taking us back to the disco days. Picture it. Yes. Glitter. Disco balls. Yes. So back then, apparently the World Hockey Association was a rival to the National Hockey League. So to try to keep, the drafts under wraps, apparently the process was very slow and done with telephones. So the owner of the Buffalo Sabres at the time, I'm going to butcher this last name, Punch Imlach? I feel like that might be right. Sure. Decided to do something a little fun with his 11th round draft pick. He decided that he was going to draft I said it before. I'm going to try it again. He was going to draft Taro Tsujimoto, a Japanese hockey prodigy from the Tokyo Katanas. The league hadn't heard of him before, but they were like, yeah, this is great. Let's just do it. Write him down. Got it. It was weeks before they realized Tsujimoto, not a real person. Not only was he not a real person, the Tokyo Katanas were not a real team.
Cool.
This is what happened before the internet.
It is what happens before the internet.
Some people did make jerseys.
I still think we need to find one of these jerseys or make one of these jerseys. We need them.
I think we do too.
To add to our collection.
They just made up a person. That's a prank you could not pull today.
It is not.
One, it's televised.
True.
Although I don't know if the 11th round is televised.
I don't think so.
But the internet.
I mean, you'd have to go deep. You'd have to make fake social accounts.
Yeah, you would need AI. You would need AI.
Absolutely.
ChatGPT, make me a hockey player. I also would love to know what like a Tokyo Katana's jersey would look like.
Well, somebody made them, so we're going to find out.
No, they made Buffalo Sabres jerseys with Tsujimoto.
Oh, I thought they made the Japanese one.
No, the Japanese one would be even cooler.
It would be. We should do that.
We should do that. Let's do that. Let's find a Japanese designer. Oh, you want to know? We actually know someone who could do this.
Oh, yes. What's her face from Disney on Ice? That's it. That is true.
Oh my God, that'd be so cool. Yep, we used to work for Disney on Ice.
I think we've mentioned it a couple times now.
We have. It's cool. We met some cool people.
We did meet some cool people.
We did. Do you have one more, Muffy?
I do have one more. So I'm taking it even further back than the 70s. We're going to the 30s.
We're going way back.
Yeah. So
we're going to the Depression.
God. In 1932, the Stanley Cup Finals was a best of 5 featuring the Toronto Maple Leafs and the New York Rangers.
The Toronto Maple Leafs actually made it to a Stanley Cup Finals, guys.
Yes, because in the past they were good. In yesteryear,
and there were 6 teams.
Yeah, that too. So Game 2 was supposed to be held in New York at Madison Square Garden. However, the circus had already booked Madison Square Garden.
Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus?
I don't know which circus.
It was probably that.
It was probably Ringling.
It was probably that.
Because
that's what... Yeah, no, that feels right.
It feels right.
And that's, that feels right.
So anyways, because the circus was at Madison Square Garden, the second game had to be played in Boston. And up until the COVID year, this was the only time a Stanley Cup final game had been played on neutral ice.
I just love that this was all because the circus came to town.
Right? Which is funny because going back to Disney on Ice, we had to cancel shows because the Lightning were in the playoffs, even though we had the arena booked.
Well, there was that one time
when we played Disney on Ice with the hockey lines.
Yeah, I feel like we're far enough removed from that no one's going to get in trouble anymore.
I mean... The people who we worked with don't even work there, work at DTG anymore.
Accurate. So yeah, that was actually that was pretty funny. There's nothing like
Bright House, the official internet provider of the city of Arundel.
Oh my God, nothing like Elsa sliding over a giant lightning bolt. It was truly magic. It was a merging of my 2 worlds that I didn't know I needed.
Yeah.
But I was glad that I had.
Yeah. Yeah. And after those 2 years, Disney and Ice got moved to a different time of the year that was not the playoffs.
Well, I mean, they could probably move it back because I'm pretty sure. Oh, dear.
I think with that, we can wrap up our period 3.
And you can find us. We're going to aim for twice a month where you can get all of your Shut Your Five haul. We are going to prepare you for this season so you do not have to be that guy at a hockey game and you can put that guy in his place. And Muffy, where can the people find us on the social media?
So we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. Though if Elon starts charging for Twitter, we will not be on Twitter anymore and we will stick with Threads. But you can find us at Shut Your Five Hole Pod, or on Twitter, it's 5hole_pod. 5hole Podcast will pull us up as well. Pretty much any iteration of those things, you will be able to find us on the social medias. You can also send us an email at shutyourfiveholepodcast@gmail.com if you want to, weigh in with your insights as well. And we look forward to continuing to talk about the greatest sport on ice.
And don't let figure skaters hear that.
I was a figure skater, so I'm just insulting myself. Though I do have a shirt that says if figure skating was easy, they'd call it hockey.
That's funny. I can't skate. So with that, we'll see you next episode. Bye.